I told her, I was like, man, I put my 2-week notice in, and she's like, oh, what are you gonna do? I was like, I don't know. She's like, you might want to do something or come up with something. I was like, I'll figure it out. I was like, just give me a second. I'll make something work. Ohio. Grew up in Southern Ohio, and I come from a very conservative community. And I left the community when I was 17, so about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever that is. I can't keep track of the years anymore. But so, anyways, I left the Amish community, and since then it's been a crazy ride. I mean, I got married a couple years ago, going on 3 years now, to my beautiful wife Audra, and it's been a wild journey, man. It's fun stuff. Fun stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
What
Just
you
gotta
been up to
excuse
lately?
my cold, by the way.
Oh, you're okay. Not the first one coming on today. A little under the weather. Appreciate you being here.
Yep, for sure. I appreciate you having me on.
So, what you been up to lately?
Work, man. That's all I do. That's all I do.
Know.
Yep, 6-7 days a week. I'm in the trenches working.
What kind of stuff are you working on?
So right now I'm a full-time real estate investor.
Okay.
So
and what's that look like?
So I got into real estate about a year and a half ago. I started flipping. I started out with flipping. First off, you already know I was in network marketing, and that kind of blew apart for me. And so I was looking for something. I wanted to get somewhere. I wanted to become financially free. I had goals and vision, and I needed a vehicle to get me there. So I got into real estate, and I thought I was going to become a millionaire on my first deal. And so that didn't happen. I actually lost money on my first deal, and but I did not give up. I kept. I went and did another deal, made a couple $1,000 in there on that deal, and so that was last year. I did 2 deals last year, and then I got into wholesaling, flipping, and buying rentals. And this is my first year doing it full time, and I've done between 40 and 50 transactions this year.
So, when you say wholesaling and flipping rentals, what does that mean for those of us who don't know real estate lingo?
Okay, so wholesaling is basically flipping a contract.
Okay.
You market to motivated sellers. You get it under contract. I know there's people that do it the wrong way. There's people that have zero intention of closing on the property. They don't even have the means to close on the property, but they just flip the contract to another investor. Technically speaking, that's not 100% legal, supposedly in the state of Ohio. I'm always backed up by private investors that I can close on any property if I need to. But so that is basically going from the homeowner, the owner of the property, getting it under contract with the owner of the property, and then assigning that contract over to another investor. And there's an assignment fee, whatever the difference between basically the homeowner and the end buyer, the investor. There's an assignment fee there that I keep out.
So how is that different than like being a real estate agent, or is it essentially the same thing, just a different way of moving the money?
It's not the same way. I get that a lot. I get that question a lot. Here's the difference. There are people, in pre-foreclosure. Maybe they're going through a divorce and they're going through crazy stuff, and they do not want to list it with a realtor because then they've got 50 people walking through their property, or they might be so close to losing their house that we got to close within 30 days. Well, by the time they put that property on the market, and a buyer comes through, it's already in foreclosure and they can't even sell it to them anymore. So Here's where we can help them out is when I put a property under contract, 9 out of 10 properties I'll close in less than 30 days.
Oh, wow.
And so most people, if you go with a real estate agent, and here I'll say this again, my theory is if I'm not being beneficial to you by, obviously I need your property at a discount, then go with a real estate agent because I'm going to have to get it less than what the actual market value is.
Right. But you're giving them an exit from having the entirety of the problem.
Yes.
Let them walk away with a small portion of the problem.
Yes, absolutely. That's what entrepreneurs are supposed to do. You're supposed to be a problem solver.
Right. So Now, do you have to take special classes or get special licenses for that, or do you just have to have the financial backers or independently backed to where it matters?
So really, you don't need to take any classes. Obviously, there's some legality to it. There's some stuff that you need to be on top of, that you need to know, and you got to know, what you're doing, how to do it, and all that. But man, I went into it 100% blind, and then I got a coach, and my coach helped me out a lot. I mean, obviously, honestly, I'll get hats off to him for what he did for me and what I've been able to accomplish this year because of him. But no, you don't have to take any special classes or anything like that. No.
Now, is this something that there's a lot of people doing? Is there room for more people to come into it?
So there's always room for more. There are a lot of people doing it. I have a lot of competition, if you want to call it that. I don't really call it competition. I'm more like, hey, if you're doing the same thing, why not work together? Let's do something together if we can help each other out. But there are a lot of people that are doing it. Yes. Okay. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I was just curious because you hear different terms used for people doing deals different ways, especially in real estate.
Yeah.
Like you alluded to, there's a lot of people doing it the not so nice way, but because they're quick and they can move the property titles quickly, there's almost not enough trail to even worry about it because it just happens. Though it's kind of hard to tell who's doing what anymore.
I know. Real estate is such there's a million different ways to make money in real estate, put it that way.
Yep. Yeah. So one thing I want to ask you about too, because I know you transitioned away from network marketing.
Yeah.
And I've had this conversation with some pretty high level business people before. How much of what you're doing now can you attribute to the training and skills you learned while being an active participant in network marketing?
So let me ask you, just so I have the question clear. You're asking what did I get from network marketing to transition into the business that I'm in now?
As far as like learning how to read people, talk to people, close a deal, and the whole personal growth and development path that everybody says is a crock of crap. Dude, I think there's no greater training in the world than being in a network marketing company.
No. So glad you asked that question. Love that question. I talk about this all the time. I was network marketing for 2 years or 3 years, something like that.
Yeah.
I took 100% of my training in network marketing that I got in network marketing and brought it over to my current business. The people skills, the personal development, all that. If you don't have that, and I tell this to everybody, if you're just starting out, if you're still an employee, if you're still working for somebody else and you're looking to get into the entrepreneur world and starting your own business, honestly, my personal opinion is I think the best thing somebody can do is get into network marketing. Get the crap.
You're good. We cuss on here.
Get the crap slapped out of you for a couple times. Get those no's, a million no's, and people laughing at you saying you're stupid. And if you can get back up and keep going, it's a sign you're gonna win. You're gonna win. And if anybody's listening is in network marketing, if that's you, if you're getting a ton of no's, man, and you're still out there grinding, dude, you're gonna win eventually. The numbers are numbers. You can't change that. But 100%, I love that question. I tell people all the time, they're like, wow, you've got amazing people skills, all blah, blah, blah. Like, man, this literally comes from network marketing. I
did 500 in-home presentations. Where do you think it came
from? Hundreds and hundreds of in-home presentations. You're not lying, man. But I brought 100% of that over to my current business. My people skills, knowing personalities, people's personalities.
Hey, I still train people on the colors.
Oh man, that is
I pass that CD out more than anything.
That's the most important. Yep, that's the most important. But yeah, network marketing. I have so much respect for people in network marketing, and I promise you, I would not be where I'm at today without network marketing.
So transitioning from network marketing to real estate, you already said that you were expecting to make $1 million on your first deal. Obviously, that was an exaggeration of the truth, but you expected some level of success on the first deal that ended up losing you money. What other surprises did you kind of find along the way with your first 2 deals last year and probably your first couple deals this year that, looking back, you're like, damn, that was a big pothole. I can't believe I stepped in it.
Yeah, so a few things. That's a great question. A few things. One is the disappointment of not making the kind of money you were expecting. If you run your numbers a million times on a deal and you're like, man, this is the one, I'm going to make it on this one, I'm going to make it on this one, and then it's just like getting 100 no's in a row in network marketing. It's like, something happens. For example, somebody broke into my second house and ripped out all the plumbing. And this plumbing was on a concrete slab. So the plumbing, they cut the plumbing off this far above the concrete. Thank God they did that. Otherwise, we would have had to be busting up concrete and getting under the concrete. We didn't have to go that far, but yeah, they tore out all the copper. And I asked my plumber, dude, how much did it cost them to, or how much money did they make on the copper that they got out of the house here? And he was like, maybe $5, $10. And it cost me hundreds and hundreds of dollars to replace all that. And then on that same deal, we find out we have asbestos in the house. We have asbestos flooring in the house. That's like you have to have a professional come in and take that stuff out because it can kill you. Actually, the people the guy I hired to get it out, he's supposedly professional. I'm not sure what the deal was, but he was sick for the next 3 or 4 days. He was throwing up and he got sick.
Oh wow!
So it's very dangerous stuff. Yeah. So that was on the second deal, and on the first deal. Let me back up to the first deal and talk a little bit about that one. So that one,
yeah, let's hear about the $1 million deal. Yeah. Last month.
So the $1 million deal, I thought, I'm going to make great money on this deal. I thought, all the stars are aligned. I'm going to do it. And it took I forget, was it 6 weeks longer than what I had planned on it taking? I was at that property. I was doing all the work, or not all the work. I was doing most of the work myself. I had a good friend of mine help me out. He was there a lot of the time too, but I was there 6 days a week from early morning. Like I'm talking 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning till 10, 11 o'clock at night, trying to get this job done. And just one thing after the next would turn up, and then we had a water leak in the basement. Came in through the foundation, and we try. I think
sounds like my house right now.
You got that problem? I know some great guys that can take care of you on that. Hit me up if you need that. But anyways, so I think on the 4th or 5th try of different stuff that I applied to the foundation and the walls and everything, we got it waterproofed. It was either doing that, spending a ton of time, or spending thousands of dollars digging up around the foundation and doing a complete waterproofing. And we had no means. I mean, that was way out of our budget. We were over budget the way it was, so we couldn't do that. And then, I had this thing in my mind, I'm going to get this price for it, so I'm still going to be okay. And well, it sat on the market, and it was the perfect time of the year to sell. Everything was just great. I was like, come on, man, we got to get an offer. And that didn't happen. Finally, some dude lowballed us, and I was like, dude, we're going to almost break even. I'm going to lose some money. I lose all the time that I put in there. But it's still in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't care if I lose all my money and all the time that I have put in here. The value of the knowledge that I got from this first project is completely priceless. You can't put $1 on what you learn on your first deal. You just can't put a price on that. And that deal, I still go back to that deal or that situation all the time. I'm like, you know what? That house has probably made me more money than anything else has, just from the experience that I got. But
yeah, and see, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one thing that I respect most about you, I think, and one of the reasons why I definitely want to have you on the show was, I've seen you have really quick success, and then I've seen you take it on the chin and have to start over. And you never let that stop you from saying, okay, so what did I learn from the situation? And then how do I move faster than I did the first time? I've never seen you pause in pity.
Yeah.
And I just respect that so much about you.
I appreciate it. For sure. It's, and here it goes back to network marketing again. If I wouldn't have been in personal development and learning, going to the major events that network marketing companies have and things like that, if I wouldn't have been in that and learning those setbacks, I would have still never quit. but it would have hit me a lot harder than it does. And I'm a firm believer in reading, books, good personal development books. I'm a very firm believer in that. And I always say, if you have your personal development on point, you have your other areas in life, that are, you have everything in order, however you want to put that. If you get a kick in the chin, it's just so much easier to take it, and stay positive about it. Yeah. If you have your other, if your life is in order with your other stuff, relationships, spirituality, health, mentalness, all of that, if that stuff is in order and you get a kick, in the balls and get knocked down, it's easier to get back up because you've got something to go back to. You're good. Okay. Yeah. I learned a lesson here.
So it's going to sound like we're here promoting network marketing, but we just know how beneficial it is. How important are the major events?
If you want to make money in network marketing, the major events, those are everything. That is like, you're never going to make a ton of money in network marketing without going to the major events, in my opinion.
And like, for someone who started business school, things that I learned the first 2 years of business school versus 2 years of network marketing, and even the cost difference, like, I'll tell you to go to network marketing for 2 years before I tell you to go get an MBA.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
And take it serious. You have to take it serious. Yeah. You might have success, but you at least have to take it serious.
Excuse me. Yeah, I agree.
So, how did you stumble upon real estate then? Was it just you had cash, it looked like flipping was something in your wheelhouse, and then you transitioned from, I'm tired of doing all the work, who has the money to where I can just be the middleman on the contracts?
No, so good question. I'm going to be very vulnerable here. I always, ever since I was a little kid, I loved real estate. And one thing that I always seen was every rich person had real estate. So Donald Trump, love him or hate him, he's a wealthy man. He's got real estate. Robert Kiyosaki, I read his book. He's got real estate. He's a multimillionaire. And so everything that I ever seen, in people, rich people, they always own some kind of real estate. So I always had my eyes on that. But when I got started in real estate, I had literally almost a negative bank account. I had to get 100% of funding from somebody else, or pretty much 100%. I put maybe a couple $1,000 in it of my own. But I was able to pay that guy back in full for my first deal, and lost part of my money and all my time. So we were in a bad situation financially when we got into real estate. I had lost money, and things were not going as you first planned. When you first get married, you've got some extra expenses, and things were just crazy. And like, it was I had to do something. This was my point. I was like, dude, I can't. I'm at rock bottom. I can't go down any further. I might as well do something. Right. So I had to do something, and I chose real estate. And man, I'm just very passionate about that. I've been passionate about it ever since I did my first deal. I just knew, I was like, something just clicked in me. I was like, man, this is it. I'm going to make it happen.
Now, what do you think would have happened if you would have paused and not went after the thing that you were passionate about and most excited about, and went more of a traditional route to pay the bills today?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you think life would look like today for you?
Miserable. Absolutely miserable. And this is just me. This is just me talking, so I'm not saying that this is for everybody, but me personally, I cannot stand the thought of somebody telling me what to do, when to do it, when to be there, when I can go take a potty break, when I can eat lunch, when I can take another break, when I can go home, how much they're going to pay me. All of that, like, makes no sense to me. And every day at my job, and I'm not proud to say this, but I was miserable every single day at my job. I hated it so freaking much. I would have done anything to walk away from that job. I walked away from my job 100% on faith. We had just got our tax return, and at this point, I hadn't even done my first deal in real estate. I hadn't even done my first deal in real estate. I had just got my tax return. My boss walks up to me one day, and he was like, hey, listen, he knew that I wanted to do something else. He knew I wasn't happy there. He wanted me to stay. He said, I'm a good worker, all that, but he said he needs a 3 or a 5 year commitment from me. he's like, and he was going over to Africa for 3 years to do some missionary work over there, help the less fortunate or whatever. And he needed 4 employees, 100% committed for 5 years. And he walks up to me one day, and he told me, hey, listen, I'm sure you already heard that, we're going to Africa for a couple of years, and I'm not firing you, but it's either I need a 5-year commitment or you're going to have to do something else. He's like, I would never tell you to leave if I would be staying here, but I just need some committed employees. I didn't even think twice. It literally just popped out of my mouth. I was like, oh, I'm done. Afterwards, I was like, I don't have another job lined up. I don't have a lot of money in the bank. What the heck did I just do? I was like, I appreciate everything you've done for me, but I'm done. I'll work, 2 more weeks, and I'm going to quit. I went home and told my wife, I was like, hey, I put my 2-week notice in today. Like, okay.
How'd that go?
And my wife is very supportive.
Yeah, I know she is.
She has, she has more faith in me than I do in myself. She's like my rock, man. She's my world, man. And I know you know that. She's been ever since the day I met her. I have a lot of respect for her. But anyways, I told her, I was like, man, I put my 2-week notice in. And she's like, oh, what are you going to do? I was like, I don't know. She's like, you might want to do something or come up with something. I was like, I'll figure it out. I was like, just give me a second. I'll make something work. I started making some phone calls. I was like, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I was like, just to pay the bills, I'm going to do taxi work, and then I'm going to get real estate started. I've always wanted to do it. I'm just going to take this time. At that time, I was like, I think 22 years old, 22 or 23 years. I was 22. Yeah. So I was 22 years old at that time. I was like, and for everybody that's listening to this, if you're in my age, like I'm 24 right now, this is the best time of your life to go all in on something. Like, I don't care, is it network marketing? Is it selling lotions and potions? Is it network? It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever you're doing, just go all in on it. You have nothing to lose. Let's just say in 4 years it didn't work out. Now you're 20, in your upper 20s. You can still go get a job. You can still, get back on track. But what did you have to lose? It's not like you're 40 years old and if you throw all your chips in and you lose everything, you don't have as much energy right now. Between 20 and 30, you have so much energy, so much drive in you that you just need to go all in on something. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
No, you're good. I wish we had more time.
Are we running out of time?
Yeah, I got another guest coming on in 8 minutes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I got 48 people lined up in 24 hours.
Dude, that's amazing. What you're doing is so awesome. I love it. Absolutely love it.
We'll definitely have you on for a round 2 and have Audra along for the ride too. And
yeah, that'd be awesome.
We'll have really good conversation and dive deep into a lot of stuff because I have tons of questions.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to do that. But just to wrap it up on my part of it, what I was going to say is I quit my job literally, I took a leap of faith. I think I was on the weakest branch on the tree, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I just had faith. I don't know if you're a believer or not, but my belief was if God doesn't take care of me on this one, it's a good sign I need to do something different anyway. So anyways, I started doing taxi work, and that's what paid our bills, got into real estate, flipped a few properties, and that story. I already talked about that. And then I went into doing wholesaling. And 1 year ago, my goal was by the end of this year, January 1st, I made a goal that I'll have 10 rentals by the end of this year. And I'm contracting a 4 unit that's going to put me at 10 units on Wednesday. So I'm like a month short of hitting my goal. But I'm okay with that.
Hey, you shoot for the moon, you land on the stars.
Yep, that's right, brother. That's right. For sure.
All right, man. We'll definitely be talking soon.
All right, awesome. Thanks for having me on, brother.